Tandem Nomads, episode 233. Having a portable business brings an amazing sense of freedom and flexibility as we grow in our global nomadic life. But in this episode, I will share with you why having a business model that's portable is not enough. There is some more things to think about to make your business sustainable. Hello, Nomad Nation. Welcome to Tandem Nomads, the podcast show and entrepreneurship platform where you can find great inspiration and guidance to grow a successful portable business and thrive in your global nomadic life. This is your host, Emel Deregi. I'm a business and marketing coach and the founder of Tandem Nomads. Nomad Nation. Oh my God, this episode might be a little hard to get started with. This is the first time I'm in front of the mic and actually literally hesitating where to get started. This is a very special episode, Nomad Nation, because when this one will be aired, it will be my first week since I have moved from New York to Austria. So this is a big deal. And if you're hearing this episode, you might hear a little bit of echo, and I literally had to put some cushions around my mic to remove the echo of my empty office in New York City. We've just packed all of the things. All the boxes are gone. We just have my husband and I each 2 suitcases left and are ready to leave New York City in just a couple of days. And this is the perfect time for me to reflect a little bit on my journey, share it with you, but also share with you something really important that I realized in the past years as I've been growing my portable business, and wanted to bring this to you today because I really think if you are looking at building a sustainable portable business that generates revenue consistently, there is something that we rarely talk about for the global nomadic community that I think is really important, especially those of you who really want to generate real revenue and have a real business while living in constant transition, moving from a country to another. But before I talk about that, let me just take a breath here, because I am feeling a little bit emotional. It is not supposed to be an emotional episode at all, but I just want to thank you, Nomad Nation. Those of you who have been listening to this podcast for the past 5 years and even more now since I've started it. I literally started this podcast in the same exact spot where I'm sitting right now, in this empty office where there's just a simple table and a chair, and that's it. And I want to thank you for being part of my journey. And for those of you who've been listening regularly, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your attention, for being the reason why I kept going even in the difficult times. And those of you who are just arriving or just recently arrived, I also want to thank you for listening and being here. And I really hope that we'll continue this journey together for a long time. Over 5 years ago, I had the idea of starting this podcast because I wanted to share this message of the importance of not giving up, and especially for expat partners who have to give up their careers to move abroad to support their partners' jobs, who give up everything and then find themselves completely lost of identity, loss of confidence, and wondering what to do with their lives and their careers and their sense of freedom and financial independence. All of those feelings, I've been through that many years ago when I started my entrepreneurial journey over 10 years ago. I started my first portable business over 10 years ago when I had to quit my job and move to Iran to join my husband. I've been a consultant for many years, helping corporate companies with their marketing strategies. And over the years, I've noticed how many, especially women, how many smart women around me had to give up everything and were so at loss and so desperate to find their own source of purpose and fulfillment, but also financial independence and safety net in this global lifestyle. And I really wanted to do something about it. And this is why I started this podcast, to share how important it is to realize that we live in a world where it is so possible to be able to build something on our own without having to start from scratch, by the way, without having to reinvent ourselves completely, but just being smart about knowing what we're really good at and transforming it into a real portable business with effective marketing strategies, simple marketing strategies, but effective, and solid foundations. Solid foundations that will help you grow your business sustainably. And I'm going to talk about that today. If you already have a portable business, I hope that you can share that message, that amazing feeling it is when you actually go through a transition, going to move to another country, whether you know it or not, whether you have to start all over again in the country you don't know, or like me, you might be going to a place that's more like home. The one thing that you don't need on top of all that stress of a move is to wonder what you're going to do with yourself, right? And if you're a mom, you might know that feeling that every single move, you're going to settle the family, take care of everybody's needs, put the kids to school, make sure that you find the doctors, you find the social network you need, you find all the information and the logistics, everything taken care of. And only then you have to face yourself and wonder what you're going to do with your life now. But by the time you start finding out some volunteering jobs, of doing some jobs, it's time to leave and then start over from scratch. And what happens with that, as I've often heard, is that feeling as time passed by is to look back and think about all these years that have passed and then wake up one morning wondering, what did I do with my life? And this feeling is a terrible feeling. And I know it because I was 10 years ago in that position when I had to start from scratch and freaking out, what am I going to do with myself? And I knew that finding and looking for a traditional job will never make the cut for me. I will never have that sustainable career growth that I would have had if I stayed in the country where I started my career and had a stable job with a salary increase, with promotions, and all those things that happen when you have a traditional job, such as your retirement plan, your social security, your safety net, and very importantly, your sense of fulfillment, of joy, and purpose. So I wish for all of you who are listening, that amazing feeling it is that I'm experiencing right now and that so many of my clients have told me, this thing when I'm just remembering right now as I'm talking, a few clients that told me as we were working together they were going through their own transition. And I remember that same sentence every single time that would tell you, Amel, it is so amazing that I don't have to worry anymore what I'm going to do with myself. I arrived, put the kids to school, and now I have my business and I can continue to do my business as nothing happened. And this is really something amazing. It's a sense of freedom and a sense of fulfillment and also a relief of all that stress that could be avoidable when you have something sustainable you can take with you wherever you go. But also if you need to stay home, even if you don't live on the move, if you need to be available for your loved ones, that freedom that you have and flexibility to be able to work from anywhere and create your own schedule, make it work for you, is so priceless. And this is what I wish for every single person who's listening here. That sense of relief but also that sense of pride and satisfaction to do a business you love, to make an impact for your clients while continuing to grow your business and continuing to generate revenue across transitions, no matter if they're geographical or life transitions. And I'm so passionate about this. I want this for each of you. So this is what I've been doing in the past years from this office that is now empty and echoing. Yeah, so thank you again for all of you who have been listening to this podcast for so long. I've been sharing with you all my secrets and tips on how to build a successful portable business. But there's one thing that I realized as I'm preparing to pack and move. I actually already packed and literally leaving in 4 days, taking off to go to Austria. I realized something big that I've been working on in the past years as I really wanted to scale my business and grow it and also make it sustainable, not just across global and geographical transition, but also across life transitions and life events. In fact, when we are a solo entrepreneur, if something happens in our lives and we can't put our full focus in our business, it becomes very hard to make it sustainable. And this is what I want to talk to you about. As I said before, having a portable business is the most amazing thing you can experience when you're a global nomad or when you want to have the flexibility to run your life the way you want. However, having a business model that's portable, for example, if you're a coach, it's fantastic because you can make it portable. And by the way, I really believe that any business can be portable. And I have a lot of episodes about that in the past and coming up some amazing stories of how you can turn other skills that are not portable into a portable business. But even if your business is portable, for example, coaching, you can do it from anywhere. It doesn't mean that your business is sustainable across transition. So it's really important that on top of having that business model that's portable, that you think about how to build systems in your business to create sustainability even through transition when you can't necessarily always be focused on the business. Basically, what I want for you on top of a portable business that allows you to move from a country to another or lead your life the way you want with freedom is also to have a business that can run even when you can't run. Do you see what I mean? You want to build a business where you can build sustainability, continue to grow your audience, continue to attract people, even when you can't put full focus into your business. Because the truth is even if, for instance, you have a portable business and you can take it with you wherever you go, the transition before and after can be really demanding. Most of you who are listening have, for example, families to take care of and have to focus on your children. And things happen in life that make you not being able to focus on your business all the time. But when you have the right strategies and the right foundations, you can then slow down your rhythm, but still have your business up and running, even if you are slowing down. And I don't know if you have been following me on Instagram, but this is a place where I've been sharing my personal journey lately. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I highly recommend you to connect with me there and send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. But I've been sharing a lot about my personal journey this past year. I would say these past couple years even, it's just gotten worse lately with my family situation and having a father who's sick and also knowing that I was going to transition and that I didn't have the time to do all the things I wanted to do. So my big goal for this year was to reduce my work time by half. And actually, most of this year, I have actually worked half the time I used to work. And in the past 3 months, I've only worked every other week. And I actually taken in the month of April 3 full weeks off without touching my computer or barely touching it. I would say maybe 3 hours over those 3 weeks that I have spent because I needed to be present and be close to my father who was really sick. I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm trying to not go too much into the details into that, but I just needed to focus on the needs of my family and be present for my parents to be able to show my emotional support, even if there's nothing I can do about my father's disease. But also, on a more positive note, I also really wanted to enjoy my last year in New York. So I made a lot of plans with my husband to spend a lot of quality time with friends and travel around the city of New York and do things that I never had the time to do. Like if you're an expat, you know that when it's time to go, suddenly you remember all the things you want to see and do. So I really had an amazing time in the past months before leaving New York, and really feel like I'm leaving well. I'm leaving with no regrets, because I really fully enjoyed my last year in New York, while continuing to grow my business, while continuing to take care of my clients and growing my audience. Because here's the thing, when I started my portable business a few years ago and I had to go through some personal hurdles, what I would do is simply pause. It is human, we're all humans, and if we need to pause, we have to pause. The problem is when suddenly some of these challenges are just not punctual. These are recurring challenges, and it basically feels like it's never the right time to be able to focus on our business. And I had to experience that in the past years, where I was like, oh my God, I cannot just keep posing my business every time there's an issue. There's got to be another way. And this is where I also started this journey of, on top of developing a portable business, is also developing a sustainable portable business where even if we need to slow down, we can continue in some way or another to show up and keeping our businesses virtual lights on. And it doesn't always mean that you keep promoting, that you keep getting new clients, but at least you can keep a minimum of your business running, such as your content, so that you continue to grow your audience while you focus on what needs to be focused on. And you will see slowly and naturally, clients will come naturally without having to push into the sales. But for that, some things need to happen. And this is what I want to cover here. I will show you some of my practical tips and things that I've implemented to be able to build this business sustainably while having worked less and being able to continue to work while I'm in the middle of this move, as I told you. But the one thing that's really important before the practical things you can do in your business is one thing. It's your mindset. It's so important to work on your mindset, but also to be very honest with yourself and look at your business and really ask yourself, do you want your business as a side gig? Do you want it to be a hobby? And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that, as long as this is what you want. Or do you really want to make your business a real sustainable and profitable business? And even if you can't grow it fast, you are building it up year by year and growing it consistently and sustainably. Because what matters is not the speed of how fast you grow, but what matters is the consistency and the fact that year after year, you are building up on those foundations so that you can make your business truly profitable and have a real business that's sustainable across transitions, be it geographical or life transitions, as I described before. So it's really important, before I share with you some practical things of what to do, I want you to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, is your business a priority in your life? Are your goals really geared towards your business? And is this really what you want? Do you wake up in the morning every day wanting to have your own thing and create your own business and make sure that your business grows, even if you have one right now, that it is actually generating clients and it is growing your revenue? So this is the one thing you need to figure out. How much do you want this? Because if you don't know how important it is for you, nothing else will help you build the stamina and the determination and find the energy that you will need to be able to build those foundations. Because the truth is, to be able to build those foundations, again, I don't think that it has to be fast, as long as you are consistently putting that focus into, with small baby steps, growing those pillars until the time where you can really see the results of a business that can sustain the transitions and even sometimes sustain pauses in your daily routines or making sure that you step out of your business while your lights are still on. So ask yourself that. How much do you want it? And how much are you really in tune with your ambitions? Because this is what will get you going and help you find the energy and determination to be able to build those foundations. Because here is something that might sound a little harsh, but I don't mean it this way, but it's important that I put it out there. It's not because you have a business that could be portable, for example, a coach, that you could do anywhere, that you actually have a business. If you don't have a system in place, if you don't have foundations in place, if your business is not disrupted through the moves, even if your business model is portable, your business is actually not portable and not sustainable through the moves. At that point, if you can't continue sustainably your business through the moves and through the events, it's not a business. It's a hobby or a side gig, but it's not a business. And you will save yourself so much time, energy, effort, and disappointments if you just sit down with yourself and make a mindset check and figure out if you really, first of all, want this, and if you do, what is stopping you to actually make it a priority. This is really important. All right, so now that I talked about this important mindset piece, then comes the more pragmatic things that you need to build in your business to be able to make it portable through transition. And in this, I won't go through the details because at the end, every single one of my episodes are actually all about this. So make sure to check my episodes, subscribe to it on iTunes, and subscribe to my newsletter to make sure to receive them. As I've been working on this throughout these past years in my business, I've actually created what I call the 3C system to revenue and impact through transitions. And in the show notes of the episode, make sure to go to the link where I give you the free download to that workbook where I take you step by step through the 3 C's to building a sustainable business and solid foundations. And these 3 C's are, the first one is clarity. It's important to get clarity around the foundations of your business. The second one is consistency. And this is why I'm talking about this whole episode. If you don't have consistency, it will be hard to call your business a business. But most importantly, it will be hard to attract clients and revenue consistently. And finally, conversion. There are some skills and there are some techniques to learn to do it effectively, to sell effectively, but also mindfully and authentically. I am all about being authentic, serving your audience first, serving your client first, so that the sales part becomes natural and easy. So make sure to go to the show notes of this episode and download my workbook where I take you through my 3C system to be able to build these foundations. Also, Nomad Nation, this is very, very important. While I will be moving to Austria, my goal is to actually organize live workshops, free live workshops, where we will work together on your business. These are not going to be webinars where you watch a lesson and that's it. These are actually going to be live workshops. There will probably be a limited space where you come with me on a session and we're going to work on your business. So if you are listening to this episode in first week of September, please make sure to sign up to my newsletter. When you download this workbook, there's a box that you tick to make sure that you receive my newsletter. So do it, and I will send you my invitation to these series of workshops. There will actually be more than one, so make sure to check them out. So this is if you're listening to this episode in September 2021. Stay tuned, because that's my goal as soon as I arrive in Austria, is to start doing these workshops. So Nomad Nation, again, go to tandemnomads.com/233 and download the workbook and sign up to the newsletter, and make sure to really check the newsletter and the email I will send you with all the information on these free workshops. And if you join me afterwards, make sure to still use this workbook, because it will as well help you to guide you through it. But before I end, I still feel like I want to share with you some of the things that I've managed to implement for myself, but also with my clients to help them build these solid foundations. So on top of these 3C system that we go into details through the workbook and also through the workshops if you join in the time of the launch of this episode, I also want to share with you some key things that will make it possible for you to not only build a portable business, but a sustainable business through transition. So the first one, as you remember, I said clarity is important. So the one thing that's really important for your business to be able to grow it without too much effort is to actually start first by having a clear messaging and a clear strategy. So this is really important. So this whole time, this year, while I reduced my working hours, my working time, all I did the whole year is to support my audience with great inspiration and tips on how to grow a successful portable business. And this keyword keeps growing, and also by sharing marketing strategies for solo entrepreneurs and how to generate revenue and attract clients. So these was my key messaging, and I just kept honing on it with every way possible to serve my audience, to be able to make it clear for my audience what I do. The second thing that I've done is to be consistent. So while I needed to slow down in my rhythm, I still continue to work with my clients. That's not the part somehow that was the most demanding for me. That's the easiest part. The most difficult part, and I must admit it, is to make sure that we keep what I call the virtual lights on while we pause, which means your content. So for that, I've done a few things. First of all, I've shortened them. If you notice, Nomad Nation, if you are a regular listener, now I'm giving you a lot of the behind the scenes. I've been asking many of you to send me your questions, and I've basically been answering these questions for a couple months now in 15 minutes or less, so that I could batch my content and prepare my content 3 months in advance. First of all, I always do that. I always batch my content, but I even had less time to do it, so I just simplified and shortened it. So the most important, again, like I said before, with your content is not the quantity. First of all, it's the quality, but also not look for perfection. When I talk about quality, consistency is the quality, not how perfect your content is. I can tell you that I'm not always proud of my episodes. There's always something I can think of doing better. And what I'm talking to you right now, my brain is going 100 miles an hour thinking of what I could have said instead of that or this. So the thing is, I'm going to share this episode, give you my best, and then next time I'll do even better. And that's what you want to do, to be able to create content consistently so that you can serve your audience, get visibility while keeping it simple and slowing it down. And I think this is really important. And the other thing is, I talk about it more in the workbook, and we'll talk about it in the workshop, is growing your email list. And this is really important because each person who joins your email list is a person who is looking for what you have to offer. And it doesn't mean that they will buy, but it certainly means that you can start building a relationship so that they can know you and like you and trust you. And ultimately, when they're ready, they will buy from you. The other thing that I've done as well to be consistent is to use two things. First of all is to have a system in place in my business. So this is something that I teach in my online course, how to create a system in your business so that you can really save time when you create your content. So here it's all about having templates and turning everything you do repetitively into templates. So a quick tip here for you, think about what you do in your business regularly and what are the repetitive tasks that you do and what can you turn into either a template or a folder that you just have to copy and paste. So this is one thing that you can do. And the other thing is automation. Obviously, if you start batching your content, you can then automate it so that when you're on holidays or when you're on pause, things are coming out automatically. And that's the beauty of our times. All these automations are so affordable and approachable for many solo entrepreneurs nowadays. And this is why I'm so amazed and grateful that we live in our times where small business owners like us can do it. We don't need to be a big corporation anymore to be able to have access to technologies that allow you to automate and scale. So these were a couple of tips to help you build consistency. Then on the conversion front, I want to talk first of all about your business model. So in your business model, you want to think about some revenue streams that you can develop to be able to scale your revenue without having to spend more time on it. The typical type of great revenues streams in a portable business are, for example, online courses. So for instance, as much as I love to work with my one-on-one clients, this year I made a huge decision was to reduce the number of one-on-one clients and increase my involvement with them. I used to take any clients all the time, and now I only take clients who want to commit with me for a certain number of months because they really want to work with me closely to reach their goals and also to help them through the implementation of the strategy. So I completely shifted my business model. Even with the live services, I completely changed it so that I serve less people, but with more impact and value. And I also then focused a lot on my online courses as well. So this year I launched the Tandem Nomads Academy that contains 2 online courses. The first one called the Business Idea Accelerator, which was a course that already existed. I just put it under the umbrella of the Tandem Nomads Academy and as well automated it. I used to launch it. Every year I would launch it, and actually my partner and I, Sunday Bean, used to launch this program together, and we both decided to focus on other things in our businesses while still selling this course, but with an automated system. So this is what we've done. And there's a second course in the Tandem Nomads Academy that's called the Portable Business Accelerator. As well, stay tuned in the Tandem Nomads world. If you download my workbook, you will learn more about it. And if you join my workshops, I'll let you know more about it as well. But the Portable Business Accelerator is the course that I've launched this year, and that really takes you step by step through everything I've been sharing with you today, that shows you step by step how to build these solid foundations so that you can generate revenue and grow your audience through transition, but also when you decide to slow it down, what you can do to keep it running and keep those virtual lights on. This is really important. So in the business model, you want to think about that. What can you do to generate revenue and scale while still reducing the amount of time that you launch or the amount of energy to provide that service or product to your clients? So that's important. But the other thing you want to look at is, are you putting your time and focus and energy into your zone of genius? Are you focusing in doing what only you can do in your business? Or are you actually wearing all these hats all the time and wasting so much time and energy doing things that you could delegate with other people? And I have a whole episode about how to delegate. I'll put it in the show notes of this episode. This is important. So this is one thing where I really, really leveled up my game this year, is in delegating, but also, to be honest with you, trusting the other people that they can do it without me. This is really important. I really left the reins of the business, and I'm so grateful to have amazing people who support me in my business, without whom I wouldn't have been able to slow down. But for that, it also takes time to be able to delegate well. Obviously, it takes time. But anyways, I have a whole episode about that. But definitely, I invite you to look at your zone of genius and what can you focus on yourself and what can you delegate. This will be really important for you on the long term to be able to grow. And speaking of which, everything I do in Tandem Nomads is about helping you grow for the long term. And this is why I insist on the term of solid foundations for sustainable growth, which means that I'm not all about tomorrow getting 10 clients. I'm all about making sure that every single day you do one small step to build the foundations that will help you grow for the long term. Because you never know, maybe you are in a time where you can't put a lot of time and energy in your business. So instead of waiting for the perfect time, what I want you to do is to start with baby steps. Even if it takes time, at least you're moving forward one day at a time rather than waiting and having nothing done and having to again start from scratch with the day where you feel ready, and eventually something else will happen and you'll stop all over again. So my biggest call to you, Nomad Nation, and the big message for you here is you don't need to stop to wait for the perfect moment to get things done. What I'm sharing with you is not even the perfect scenario, because there's so much more I want to do to improve my business and the businesses of my clients as well. But it's all about starting with baby steps. So don't wait for the perfect time to get going. And if you wonder where to start, if you're in a place where you don't have clarity, work on getting clarity. If you're in a place where you're not getting consistency, work on getting consistency. If you're in a place where you have clarity, you have consistency, but you're not converting, work on getting conversion. So this is really important. All right, Nomad Nation. So I shared with you some important messages with you today. And I hope I'll get to see you inside my newsletter, through the workbook downloaded in the show notes of this episode. And if you're catching this episode on time while I'm providing these live workshops, I hope to meet you there so that I can help you more deeply with that. Make sure to go to tandemnomads.com/233 and sign up to the newsletter so that you can receive all my goodies to you. Nomad Nation, I am just so grateful. I'm counting my blessings for you listening to this episode until now. I hope I have served you well. I shared a lot of my behind the scenes, and the only reason I feel more and more comfortable is because of you. Sometimes it's difficult to open up, and I really try to not get emotional. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have edited some pieces where I just couldn't hold it, because I am so grateful for the love that I've received in the past 5 years, and for the support and for your attention, Nomad Nation. Thank you so much for being part of this journey. And I cannot wait to meet you on the other side of the pond once I'm in Austria. It's just basically, when you listen to this episode, I'll already be in Austria. And these are just few days. This is recorded just 4 days before I actually take off and return the keys. So big time, Nomad Nation. And let's live this together. Let's live this location independent business and source of purpose and impact together. I can't wait to support you through this journey. I hope to meet you and get to know you. And as I mentioned before, join me into these workshops if you see me during the right time here, or download the workbook. But in any case, make sure to stay tuned and to turn all your challenges into great opportunities. Thank you so much for being part of this journey, and meet you on the other side.